This video is sponsored by Rat Power Bikes. In today's video, we drive up to Georgia, visit historic Macon, and Stone Mountain Park near Atlanta. All this as part of our road trip to see the solar eclipse of 2017.
I'm riding with my RV, wherever I want to be, 'cause I'm free in my RV, yeah.
We say our goodbyes as we depart on this epic journey. At this point, we don't really know exactly where we'll end up. All we know is that our first few days will be in Georgia. Luckily, traffic is light on this Sunday morning. We are taking the fastest route, which is I-95 North, and then the Florida's Turnpike. After a couple of uneventful hours, we stop at the Fort Drum Service Plaza, one of the largest ones, to grab a bite to eat inside the RV, and also to put gas. As you can see, it is very crowded in here. At an average of 10 miles per gallon, our range is kind of limited to about 160 miles per fill-up. We of course get some rain along the way, why not? A few miles past Orlando, we decide to take a break from the turnpike and go to the highest point in the Florida Peninsula, not counting the Panhandle. It is called Sugarloaf Mountain, rising to a whopping 312 feet above sea level. And here we are, the views from the top. Pretty good, pretty cool, a little uncommon for Florida.
You see a little bit of the view there of that lake.
So I suppose this is the tallest house in the Florida Peninsula. Not the Florida State, but the Florida Peninsula. Anyways, we continue.
Yeah, here we are, Sugarloaf Mountain. Even though to call it a mountain is a little bit of a stretch, perhaps. Off we go again, through this beautiful yet unusual part of Florida. At least unusual to us, from the southern portion of the state. There's this truck here to the left, not letting me change lanes. Kind of weird. And it turns out it is a fan, fellow RVer and fellow YouTuber Willie Montañez.
This guy, I've been following this guy for since I ever started RVing. I saw him go by me. We're RVing down here in Florida.
Yeah.
We're leaving Tuesday. And he passed me, and when I saw the back of your trailer, that's him!
Yeah.
That's Robert! We getting him! So I said, no way. Here you are. I cannot believe, bro.
Well, yeah, that was quite a coincidence. Especially because we were talking about him just minutes before. Well, after a very long day, we made it to Georgia.
Okay, everybody, we are super tired. We've been driving all day, but check that out. Georgia on my mind. We made it to Georgia for the fourth time, I think, since we've had Minnie the trailer. Now, let's find some place to sleep. Well, we've arrived here at the Walmart in Valdosta. Let me show you what we've done. I turn on the generator because it is 90 degrees still. Well, it's 80 something this day. It sounds a little louder on the camera, I think, than what it really sounds. But there are two other people here. There's a camper van over there with the generator on. And there's a Class C motorhome over there with the generator on too. So I don't feel so bad. I'm not gonna run it too late, but I'm gonna run it at least until 10:30 or so.
Good morning from the Valdosta Walmart. We're going to continue on I-75. Every time I drive through here, I see all these signs advertising the Magnolia Plantation, so I figured this time I would stop by. It does kind of look like a plantation, doesn't it?
so we woke up at the Walmart and now we stopped here, 40 miles north, at this place called Magnolia Plantations. There were like 100 signs on the road advertising it, and I've seen it every time I come to Georgia, so I wanted to check it out. So let's check it out. It seems to be a gas station and a plantation imitation. I don't know. We are at this town called El Dorado Omega, and there's even a fountain behind us. Pretty cool, huh?
Inside, as I suspected, it is just a store, selling Georgia goods like pecans and peanuts and peach preserves, but many unpronounceable ingredients, not to mention high fructose corn syrup, so I suspect all this stuff is mass-produced. We did get some peach-infused hot sauce. Hey, there's another fake plantation. After a little over 2 hours, we are descending upon Macon, Georgia. Our campground is the Al-Sihah Shrine RV Park. $32 per night, but if you have a Good Sam membership, it is only $16. Yeah, we finally make up our minds. Let's go to Macon. And here we are, Macon, the heart of Georgia. There are many historic buildings in the city, and the first one we're going to visit is the Hay House, which is almost like a small palace, completed in 1859 in the Italian Renaissance Revival style. On the bottom floor we see what used to be the summer dining room, and some memorabilia like a travel journal. Part of an elaborate ventilation system to keep the house somewhat cool in the summer. And the pantry, elevated from the floor to protect it from critters. What a great idea! Next, we go to the front porch.
That's the wine cellar?
That's the eye of the fish, and the center is the quartz opulence. Those are hard pine. They've been painted to look like aged bronze. They are 12 feet high, 6 inches thick, and 500 pounds apiece. Perfectly balanced on their original footlong silver-plated hinges, painted to look like marble. This trompe-l'oeil was done for Mr. Johnston by a Swiss artist whose name was Auguste Truffaut. When he finished, he signed his work above the door back there and applied a layer of varnish over his work to protect it. Originally, they were burnt from coal in this house.
Most of the house is decorated in the style and period of the first family that inhabited the house, the Hay family. Apparently, they had a thing for pocket doors too. And this to the right is a fake door, made only for symmetry purposes. So much luxury and art on display, like this sculpture called Ruth Gleaning by American sculptor Randolph Rogers. More pocket doors. The house was very modern for its time. It even had an elevator, not to mention hot and cold running water and a pipe intercom system. Now on the second floor. Hey, check it out! A hidden secret room, which is actually pretty large. And that's what it looks like when it's closed. Up to the third floor, we are now sweating profusely, and they are working on some restoration up here. This room up here, it is actually decorated as it would have looked in the 1950s. a great view we get from the top floor. This would have been great had they had air conditioning. Yeah, the majestic hay house. Let's continue exploring. Ever since we drove through Macon last year, I have been fixated on the architecture of this street called College Street. We were driving through and I saw all these antebellum-looking Greek revival structures and I wanted to check it out so bad. And so here we are again, and I bet you we'll return later. Unfortunately, a lot of it is in disrepair. By the end of the street, we encountered the Rose Hill Cemetery, the oldest and largest one in the city. It is one of the most picturesque cemeteries I've ever seen. It almost reminds me of Roman ruins or something like that. It is actually the final resting place of over 1,000 Confederate soldiers, several prominent political figures, and of course, the Allman brothers. By the way, beyond that ridge, that's the Ocmulgee River, which we'll see later. Am I even supposed to be driving here? Let's get out, just in case. Such a historic city in so much disrepair. Almost every single house for rent, for lease, or for sale. In other words, vacant. And who would have thunk it? There's Cuban food in Macon. And there's the hay house again. Actually, let's go downtown. Passing by another famous building, the Cannonball House. Maybe we should have done that museum instead. It is so hot in Macon today. Here's another pretty famous landmark, the Grand Opera House, brought to you by Geico, I guess. Where's my cut? This is downtown Macon. There's the courthouse.
We are in a very historic neighborhood here in Macon. And this is a very historic restaurant called the Bear's Den. And there's a train going through right there.
Unfortunately, at this time, it was only open for to-go orders. And here to the left, there's another famous restaurant called H&H.
Turn right onto Plum Street.
We decide to go for the Ocmulgee Brew Pub. Not a very lively place, but the local brews are great. The poutine, meh. But the burger is pretty good. I gotta say, the place is pretty dead. There's also this place next door called the Barefoot Tavern. Another time, perhaps. We continue walking around a little bit, sweating profusely. A lot of businesses not in business. And these balconies next kind of remind me of San Francisco.
Cherry Street.
Oddly enough, you're supposed to park backwards in these diagonal spaces. And of course, not everybody follows the rules. And that was pretty much downtown in a nutshell. We continue. Our next point of interest is the Ocmulgee National Monument, which is a prehistoric American Indian site. There are supposed to be some ancient Indian mounds here, but the bugs are relentless and the heat unbearable, so we don't get to see much. There's Interstate 16. Yeah, it is a pretty long bridge. The Ocmulgee River down there. The railroad track. Here is the First Baptist Church, and here's the St. Joseph Catholic Church, which we'll revisit tomorrow. Right now, we are pretty tired, so we are going back home to the RV park.
We arrived here and there's a bunch of bugs. I'm gonna have to leave soon. It was incredibly hot inside that house. Even the guide was sweating profusely. I almost told her if we wanted to cancel the tour. It was really interesting. The house, it's the mansion as it was furnished throughout 3 different families along the course of 100 years. We had a good time here in Macon, Georgia. Tomorrow, I'm going to try to explore a little more in the morning, and then we're driving a little over 2 hours up to the Atlanta area. That's Minnie back there.
Good morning once again. Let's explore Macon a little more, but first, let me mail some CDs and stickers too.
Okay, this right here is my office on the road, and I just got some eclipse stamps, which are pretty cool because they change. I think with the heat you can see the moon, but when it's cold in the air conditioning they look black. Well, now they look, yeah, with the heat they change colors, so they're pretty cool. I'm gonna be sending all the CDs and stickers. Well, the CDs, no, the stickers are gonna go with this commemorative stamps from now on.
Here we are by the historic Vineville neighborhood. So let's check out the Allman Brothers Museum while we're here.
We are in this residential neighborhood. Now we're gonna check out the house where the Allman Brothers used to live. This is the museum is closed, but I'm just gonna go check it out. I don't think they like me. And apparently this is it. Let's go to the big house. Okay, they seem to have like a guitar there. Just give you a peek inside the house, inside the museum. The Allman Brothers, the big house. Oh well, that's all I can show you, folks. Unfortunately, the museum is closed on Mondays, Tuesdays. Today is Tuesday, and on Wednesdays. So. Let me go back to the car. So many pretty houses here in Macon. This one looks very nice, but unfortunately a lot of them are in disrepair. Anyways, I'm gonna go through this side of the road now. Wow, very nice. This one is very, very well maintained. I have no idea what it is. Probably private. And there are my friends. Right there, and there's Kia over there.
we continue driving through the pretty historic neighborhoods. This right here, Bond Street, looks really cool. And to satisfy my fixation, once again, we're going to cruise along College Street one more time. Good thing there is plenty of parking. And we park in front of this building called the Center for Strings. I just love that Greek revival architecture with the frieze, the Corinthian columns. Right next to it, there's this large apartment building called the Massey. Yeah, it is pretty massive. Let's continue exploring. We've been looking for this trail called the River Walk since yesterday, actually, and I think I found it on the GPS. We're crossing the Ocmulgee River one more time, and here we are.
Well, this is Riverside, and this is some piece of art here. It's called Chewy by one John Clement. Very cool. Let's go see the river.
We keep wondering what's that tower over there, so more exploring is in order. And what are all these little bugs? River bugs? I should really brush up on my entomology. There's a resident here of the Ocmulgee River. Actually, let's cross to the other side, and we see some other permanent residents. This here is called the Ocmulgee Heritage Trail. Probably pretty cool for jogging, but today is actually probably too hot for anything. Well, that was it. Riverside, in a nutshell. So let's go see what that pretty tower is. Let's investigate. Hey, there's the hay house once again, so we must be on the right track. Okay, this is a parking lot. This back alley looks actually promising. And here we are.
Okay, this is called In Town, Macon. And we just stumbled upon this neighborhood, and this is part of the university. Very cool. And we also get pretty decent views of the city from here. That's hay house right there.
By the way, this is the Coleman Park Hill, and that's a very nice private residence.
I bet you they get a nice view from there.
For whom the bells toll. Such a beautiful day. Wow, is it 11 a.m. already? We have to go soon. There's a nice view of the Macon skyline from here.
Wish we had time to sit down at a bench. Enjoy the city's skyline from here.
Let's check out this building here. The Greek Revival structure is the Woodruff House, and this is Mercer University's School of Law. Such a majestic looking building. Let's explore a little more. A very nice way to study law, if you ask me. So much history here. There's the Cannonball House. In hindsight, I think we should have visited this one instead of the Hay House, but now we don't have the time.
Cannonball House.
Yeah, this one seems to be more established as a museum, I guess. Well, maybe we'll find an excuse to return to Macon sometime. Our next and final point of interest here is the St. Joseph Catholic Church. So let's park. There's the First Baptist Church, and here's St. Joseph's. Let's step inside. Very beautiful inside. It actually has 60 stained glass windows. The church has undergone many renovations. For example, the current altar only dates back to 2006. The Great Dome rises 125 feet above the floor. Here's another look at one of the stained glass windows. The original organ, a contraption by Pilcher & Sons of Louisville, Kentucky, was replaced after 80 years, back in 1985, but they kept some of the original parts from the 1903 original. Well, there you have it. The foundation was laid in 1889 and the building was completed in 1903. Now, who wants to go to Atlanta? Well, we'll be doing that in about 30 seconds. Rat Power Bikes is an electric bike manufacturer offering direct-to-consumer pricing on powerful premium electric bikes. Because they sell directly to you, the consumer, you won't see the large retail markup that would be present if you were buying from a third party or a dealer, ensuring you're always getting a performance e-bike at a fraction of the cost. Visit www.ratpowerbikes.com or call 1-800-939-0310 to learn more about their models or to place an order. Now offering free shipping on all 4 models. We pick up Minnie Teeny and off we go towards the Atlanta area. It is a fairly uneventful 2-hour drive along the rolling hills of central Georgia. Here we are, Stone Mountain Park. The campground is another 1.5 miles or so into the park. Very nice campground. Here's our site.
Well, we have arrived and check this out. I haven't even had time to finish hooking up all the hookups because I want to show you guys. We are here at Stone Mountain Campground, and let me be careful because there's a big, a ravine behind me. This is beautiful, beautiful. We are right by the lake, right here at Stone Mountain Park. Right now, we're gonna spend some time with the family here near Atlanta, but tomorrow I'm gonna show you the whole park, or maybe the surroundings. I have no idea what we're gonna do. But here, check it out, the mountain. You can see it back there. It's pretty cool, huh? Okay, one more view from the other side. And this is the campground, which is, to be honest about it, is kind of half empty. But check it out, this is our trailer, right here. And this is gonna be our view tonight. We're gonna be sitting here, looking at the lake, sipping some wine, and with the mountain, Stone Mountain, right next to us.
My brother-in-law, Pepe, is here to pick us up for lunch with the family. After a late lunch, he invites us to go for a hike in one of his favorite parks, Bethesda Park. You know, burn up some of those calories. This particular trail is 1.5 miles, all paved and overall very pleasant. Seems to be very popular with the locals. Well, we still got a long way to go. Are those spider webs? It is a very pleasant afternoon here in this wooded area. We emerge by this pond with all these ducks. Now that we've done some exercise, let's go have some ice cream. This area of Gwinnett County is known as K-Town because of the large Korean community that lives here, and we're going to have some Korean-style rolled ice cream. It is very cool how they make it right there in front of you. It is really good ice cream, and it was a fun afternoon catching up with the family. As night falls, we go back to Stone Mountain.
Good morning. This is the view from our window.
Well, now that I am fully awake, good morning. It is very nice out here, very peaceful.
Let me show you our view again.
Let's take the short path down to the river, actually the lake. Much better view of the mountain from down here. The mountain is actually made out of quartz monzonite. There's an aerial tram that goes all the way to the summit, and also a trail, but we are going to do neither. We went to the top last time we were here. I'll put a link to that video. I could stay here all day. And there's the tram coming down. It is a nice sight, isn't it? Let's walk around the campground like we usually do.
That's an old GMC, no?
By the way, the campground is huge. There's one of the camp hosts.
This is our loop.
Let's unhitch and go for a ride around the park. There is this covered bridge dating back to 1892, which originally spanned the Ocmulgee River in Athens, Georgia.
We should write our names. Forever immortalized in the wood.
There's the whole explanation. Feel free to pause the video. Yeah, very pretty. I love these old covered bridges. We decided to walk on this trail here a little bit.
Oh, that's a big shroom.
We continue towards the Quarry Exhibit, which tells the story of an industry that played a significant part in the history of Stone Mountain. And here's the Grist Mill, dating back to 1869, its original site near Ellijay, Georgia. After passing by the inn, we decide to go explore the Stone Mountain village, which is just outside the park going through the west entrance. It actually looks like a very nice neighborhood. Here we are by Main Street. Let's find somewhere to eat, or rather drink. Actually, we're thirsty. Here it is. Village Corner German Restaurant, Bakery and Tavern. But they had me at Brew Pub.
German Bakery and Tavern. Let's check it out. There's a historic cemetery or something.
I have the Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest.
And this also happens to be the Stone Mountain Brewery. Always looking forward to a good local craft beer. We return to the campsite and Pepe is already waiting for us to continue exploring the park together. There we can see some yurts that are actually part of the campground. Maybe we can go see them later. We passed by the Marriott Hotel just to see it. It is pretty much deserted. Actually, I almost forgot to mention, but a viewer recognized me as we were walking down the hallway. That was so cool.
Hello, ducklings.
We see the Carillon. Actually, this is the area where they rent the e-bikes and they do Segway tours and all that. Next on the list, the Historic Square, which is actually a pretty cool collection of old original Georgia buildings that they have moved here. We check in at the Maddox General Store from circa 1830. Next, we have the Allen House, circa 1845, which was in a 300-acre plantation. Here's the dining room and the parlor. Most of the windows still preserve the original handmade glass. Here's the master bedroom, the children's bedroom, and it looks like they weaved their own fabrics. Pretty cool, pretty well preserved actually. There's the storage crib and the well. The next house is Dr. Chapman's Powell's cabin from 1826. The Thornton House from 1792, perhaps the oldest one here. That's pretty innovative for the time.
Great technology.
According to the pamphlet, this one is built in the federal style, which means brick walls covered in wood siding, outside. Very interesting to see how people lived in a different era. Next we have a slave cabin from around 1830. And here's another one. We also see the barn, and let's see what it looks like inside. And next we have the farmyard, a part of which is like a petting zoo, probably very popular with the little ones. And you say bah? The coach house and the smoke house. There's even a vegetable garden, organic I'm sure. And this is called the necessary house. All these houses had a separate building for cooking, to reduce the risk of fire and to remove the smells from the house. And here's the pièce de résistance at the Davis house from 1856. It is amazing how they were able to move all these large buildings here. Here's a picture of Mr. Davis, the former owner of the house. And it looks like he liked music, lots of instruments. Here's something called the washroom. And here's the girls' bedroom. That's us. And this room here, this is the dining room. The table dating back to the 1700s.
Exit through the lower floor, the back of the house.
By the way, they do rent this backyard for weddings and events like that. It is a nice venue for that, actually. Well, that was a very nice self-guided tour, if I may say so myself. I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't think I was gonna like it as much as I did. And there's Stone Mountain.
And the schoolhouse.
Last but not least, we have the old Powell Academy schoolhouse. Yeah, the school from DeKalb County, circa 1875. How things have changed. There's the old piano and the tiny blackboard. Hey, and that's me. We are now at the Discovering Stone Mountain Museum. From here, you can see the best view of the somewhat controversial, I guess, Confederate memorial. It is the largest bas-relief sculpture in the world, depicting President Jefferson Davis and Generals Robert E. Lee and Thomas J. Stonewall Jackson on horseback. There have actually been proposals to remove the carving from Stone Mountain, but it is protected by Georgia state law for now. And this building here is the Confederate Hall Historical and Environmental Education Center. And now here we are by the trailhead, the beginning of the trail that goes all the way to the top of the rock. Shall we do it? Okay, maybe next time. Hey, check out the Carillon. Back in the campground, we check out the yurts. We wanted to see one of them inside, but they all seem to be locked. Yeah, we checked. It is our last sunset here in Georgia. Very beautiful. Tomorrow we continue towards Tennessee. And who knows where else? Well, you know. Uh-oh, we've got rain.
Our first big downpour of the road trip. It is coming down. Got a new neighbor. Good morning from Stone Mountain. It's a very wet night. And now we're leaving. Soon.
Well, the journey continues. Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, North Carolina, and South Carolina await. So make sure you come back next week. If you have enjoyed traveling with us, make sure you are subscribed and check out my other videos. Also, share it with your friends, spread the word, and leave me a comment. Now, if you really liked it, you have a chance to show your support at patreon.com/travelingrobert. As always, thank you so much for watching and see you on the road.